Today is December 12th, and I want to come with some news because President Biden has 1 month left in office. So he has 1 month to, how I view it, to forgive as much debt as possible. And there is some updates with the hardship rule that went into public comment in October. So what's going to happen with that is they're finalizing the public commenting period and basically going to forgive borrowers with specific defined hardship. That includes, been paying for over 20 years. There's a whole list of people that I created videos on the hardship rules that they proposed in October in order to forgive more debt within this 1 month period. So I wanted to put that out there. There's been a lot of push for this just because they know that people know that things are going to change pretty significantly under President Trump. I mean, we've heard talks about taking away the Department of Education, things that I'm not even quite sure is possible, because who will manage the student loan programs, right? There's still obligation to the university systems, which have a lot of power as well, to provide some type of funding and access. Especially public institutions rely a lot on Department of Ed student loan programs and other funding to be able to operate public institutions, public universities. So I wanted to also mention that under President Biden, there's been essentially a lift and or a pause on wage garnishment, Social Security garnishment. Basically, really harsh tactics to collect debt on borrowers have essentially been put on pause under President Biden. He instituted and created the Fresh Start program, which allowed people to get out of default without negative repercussions. Even though the Fresh Start program has technically ended, by the way, only 900,000 people applied for Fresh Start, which is really baffling considering 6 million people were in default before the pandemic happened. So you would think that at least half would try to get access to Fresh Start, where they would be able to start fresh and get on an income-driven plan without having to go through, a consolidation or rehabilitation, which takes 9 months. And unfortunately, only 900,000 people enrolled. And that is very scary for what it's going to mean under President Trump, because a lot of people who haven't paid their student loans in many years since the pandemic pause, and whether they went into Fresh Start or not, just think that somehow if they don't pay long enough, their debt is going to be forgiven. And that's simply not how it works. People's credit gets hurt. If people don't pay for long enough, it gets buried in the credit. Like, for example, if somebody hasn't paid for 7+ years, it's still there. It exists. And debt collectors have stopped going after borrowers. And I do believe that when President Trump comes into office, people who have not paid on their student loans but never enrolled in income driven or a way to get their loans in good standing will definitely have wage garnishment, Social Security garnishment, their IRS tax refunds garnished. So this is a warning sign to anybody out there that has not paid their student loans, not just during pandemic, but before, or have not continued to pay their loans after the fact that their loans have been put back into repayment after the pandemic pause, right? To just be very careful, because the government does have the power and the legal authority, the Department of Ed and the government, to withdraw your paycheck and hold back your Social Security and hold back your Social Security, also hold back any kind of IRS refund. I want to put that out there. I want this to serve as a fair warning that you essentially have 1 month before President Biden leaves office to get a handle on your student loans. File into an income-driven plan. If you want to be put on additional pause, you could likely file into SAVE still, but we recommend other plans just because we do believe SAVE will end. And get your payment into a manageable situation. It may not be zero, but if it's low enough, like $20, $30, to go ahead and pay on it so you're in good standing. Also to track how many payments have been counted towards repayment so you know when you're done paying. If you do not track that, you will not know when you're done paying. And that's the worst thing I think about the student loan system is that people don't know when their last payment is supposed to be, which is to me egregious. You know, when you take out a mortgage or you buy a home or you take out an auto loan, on your auto loan, you know your auto loan limit is 5 years. You're not going to wake up one day and despite paying, have your auto loan be 7 years or have your auto loan be 10 years. That's not how it works. And unfortunately, with the student loan system, that can be how it works with different income driven plans. The plan depends on the payment length and if the payment you made, did not make, partially make, made late, counts as a payment. That's another specificity that is very challenging and annoying for people. So my recommendation, if you cannot afford your payment and you have been defaulting and or not even been officially defaulting, but just have not paid for 3 to 6 months, going on 9 months, however long you have not paid, I recommend if you cannot afford your payment that your loan servicer says you owe to go ahead and get onto an income-driven plan. We can give you free plans at myloansense.com. Click on app, answer a few questions, connect to your loans, and we will tell you the best plan to enroll in. We will, if you need to meet with someone to talk through what your best options are, especially if you're married, and you want to understand before this tax filing season right around the corner, should you file jointly? Should you file separately? What is the implication to you and your spouse's loans? We're happy to talk about that. If you just want to make sure you're out of default by the time Trump gets into office or make sure you get yourself into a reasonable payment plan before Trump gets into office, we're here for that as well. There is now a very limited time to act before I really do think the legal authority of the government to punish people for not paying will be coming back in full swing. And we've definitely got reports from lenders that the student loan servicers are not reporting very promptly at all to credit. So there's a lag in reporting. So if you have not paid or paid late in the last 3 months, you better bet your butt that you didn't get away with it just because you pulled your credit report last month and it wasn't there. You did not get away with it. It's just going to be reported much later than any other form of credit. So I just want to put it out there. I do want to link to a video here on what's included in your credit, implications to your credit score. I'll link a video that I did on credit so you can understand what you could do to improve it if that's an ongoing question and you have or have not been paying your student loans. It's always good to know what counts for what, like payment history versus the debt type. How do you improve your credit? By knowing the factors that help you get good credit. Obviously, paying your bills on time is a very important factor and everybody knows that. But there are other factors as well, like credit mix. There are factors like your debt to income. How much are you over leveraging and or leveraging yourself? That's a factor. Anyways, I go over that in the full credit video. Take a look. That's really, really important. Please comment, like, and ask your questions, and we will answer them, get back to you. Let us know if there's anything we could do to help you. Again, if you're in default, get in an income-driven plan now. If you have questions around what your best options are before this tax filing season, we are here. If you are a potential borrower that has had hardship or has had issues over the last couple decades paying back your student loans, we should also talk because you may be a really great candidate for Biden's latest wave of cancellation, okay? Which, by the way, does not seem like you have any forms to file for that it will be mostly just based on your payment history of how they determine that. There's nothing I can see as of right now that you would need to file forms for. So just wanted that brief update as well. We will talk soon. Have a great rest of your week.